Ready to open the hood? UseTool for the tutorials.
And for car parts, the right idea is the Mr. Auto app. Easy, fast, and with better prices than on the website.
You can find the bulk distribution kit used in the video exclusively on the Mr. Auto website and in the link in the description. Before doing this operation, we recommend you watch our video, 10 things to know when changing a timing belt. Turn your engine off. Pull up the handbrake. Pull on the bonnet release lever and open the bonnet. For safety reasons, we recommend unplugging the battery. To do this, we recommend that you watch our video, How to Replace the Car Battery on a Golf 7 1.6 TDI. In order to change the timing belt, you have to lift the front of your vehicle and remove the passenger side wheel for full access. Lift the front of the car and place it on the two-axle stands. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, racing your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. You can then remove the wheel. Remember to slide it under the vehicle. Remove the crankcase. You will now need to remove the lower mudguard. Using a T25 Torx screwdriver, remove the 5 bolts holding the mudguard, then remove it. You will have to drain the coolant system. Using a pair of adjustable pliers or the specific tool used in the video, remove the hose connected to the radiator located under the air conditioning compressor. For more information on this step, it is essential to watch the video How to Drain and Purge your Golf 7 1.6 or 2.0 TDI coolant system. Put the hose back in place. For this operation, you have to remove the drive belt. To do this, we recommend you watch our video, How to Replace the Drive Belt on the Golf 7 1.6 or 2.0 TDI. Take off the engine cover. Unclip the fuel hose from its plastic guide. Next, remove the plastic guide from the coolant expansion tank. Using pliers, remove the clamping clip from the coolant hose. Then detach the hose. Using a flathead screwdriver, disconnect the level sensor from the coolant expansion tank. Use the same tool to unclip the expansion tank and gain access to the hose underneath the tank. Then detach the hose. You can use a screwdriver to help. To access the plastic timing belt case, you have to remove or shift the hoses that are in the way. Using a socket wrench, an extender and a 10mm socket, unscrew both nuts holding the diesel fuel filter flange. You can use a magnet to collect the nuts. Now use pliers to move back the clamping clip on the outer hose of the diesel fuel filter. We are removing the clamps using a special tool, including the video's description, but you can also use locking pliers. Then move the hose aside. Shift the hose clamp in the direction of the engine. Then pull the hose and move it aside. You can plug the hoses to keep diesel from spilling out. Using a flathead screwdriver, open the plastic guide. You can now move the diesel fuel filter flange over to the engine side. Then move aside all the remaining coolant and diesel hoses. Using a T27 Torx socket, unscrew the bolt holding the DPF pressure pipe guide. Unsnap the heat shield. Using a T27 Torx socket, unscrew the two bolts holding the DPF pressure sensors. Now you can free the DPF pressure pipes and move them aside. Using a 17mm spanner, unscrew the catalytic converter sensor. You can then unscrew the bolt holding the heat shield in place with a T27 Torx socket. Remove the heat shield. You can now remove the plastic timing belt cover by pressing the two tabs. Plug the fuel line. You will then need to remove the damper pulley. Unscrew the 4 bolts on the pulley using an extender and an M10 Triple square socket. Use an impact wrench, which will not cause the crankshaft to rotate. Remove the damper pulley. To do this, you will need to remove the top engine mount. You will have to compensate with a jack position to support the oil pan. You will also have to regularly raise and lower the engine to access certain areas. We recommend adding a rubber buffer between the jack and the oil pan to prevent damaging the oil pan. Using a 13mm spanner, unscrew the cross bolt that holds the engine mount to the chassis. Then remove it.
All parts used in this tutorial are supplied by our trusted partners. These partners also help us create as many video tutorials as possible. Check them out in the description below.
Using a socket wrench, an extender and a 16mm socket, unscrew the 2 vertical bolts from the chassis. Then remove them. Using the same tools, unscrew the 2 vertical bolts from the engine. Then remove them. Remove the engine mount. Now you have to remove the cover plate from the timing case. Using a socket wrench and a 16mm socket, unscrew the first bolt holding the plate. To be able to access the different bolts and remove them, use the jack to adjust the height of the engine. Then unscrew the second bolt using the same tools. Unscrew the third bolt using a 16mm spanner. Next, lower the engine a few centimeters and remove the bolt. Return the engine to its original position. The timing case cover plate cannot be pulled out since the bottom plastic cover is blocking it. Here, you can see the plastic cover's 4 bolts. Remove them using a socket wrench and a T27 Torx socket. Then move the plastic cover downwards. This will allow you to remove the timing case cover plate from the top. Now remove the plastic cover. Next, you need to time the engine. This is a crucial step. Using a socket wrench, an extender and an M12 Triple square socket, turn the engine to the top dead center position. This is the engine's timing position. This is when the side hole fork of the camshaft pulley, located under the crankshaft sprocket locking bolt, is aligned with the timing hole. this point, the high-pressure pump sprocket fork will also be aligned with its timing hole. This is also the crankshaft's timing position. For this operation, we recommend you use the various timing tools that you can find in the video description. Start by inserting the timing pin in the camshaft pulley to check that you're in position. It can be a little difficult to insert. Then remove it so that you can unscrew the camshaft pulley locking bolt a half turn using a socket wrench and a T27 Torx socket. Then reinsert the timing pin. Now you need to fit the crankshaft timing tool. There are 2 pins on the tool that fit into the 2 holes in the crankshaft sprocket and a lock that acts as a keyed connection. On the engine block, there's a hole into which the pin of the locking tool is inserted. Position the locking tool on the crankshaft sprocket. You can rotate the sprocket slightly with a socket wrench to align the hole with the pin of the timing tool if they're not aligned already. Then push in the timing pin. After the crankshaft timing is set, start by removing the timing pin from the crankshaft pulley. You can use an 18mm spanner to help. Use a pulley locking wrench to counterlock pulley rotation at the same time as you loosen the camshaft pulley using a breaker bar and an 18mm socket. This ensures that you do not lose the timing marks or pull on the belt. Once the pulley has been unscrewed half a turn, reinsert the timing pin. Use the high-pressure pump pulley locking tool supplied in the kit. Counterlock the high-pressure pump pulley. Then, using a breaker bar and a 24mm socket, unscrew the pulley retaining nut by half a turn. You can use the tool to align the fork with the locking hole. Then, insert the high-pressure pump timing pin. Your engine is now timed. Using a socket wrench and a 15mm socket, unscrew the tensioner pulley. Then, using a 6mm Allen key, loosen the roller by turning it anti-clockwise. Using a socket wrench and a 13mm socket, unscrew the take-up pulley. Then remove it. You can now remove the timing belt. At the camshaft pulley, the timing pin is in the way of the belt. This means you have to remove the pin to extract the belt. Then put the pin back in.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.
Using a socket wrench and a 13mm socket, unscrew the lower take-up pulley, then remove it. You will now need to remove the water pump. You can disconnect the water pump using a small flathead screwdriver and then remove the water pump connector from its compartment. Using a socket wrench and an M10 Triple square socket, unscrew the 3 bolts holding the water pump. Remove the water pump. Please note that there's always some coolant left in the engine. Have a collection can handy to collect the coolant when it pours out. You can now clean the timing belt compartment using compressed air. In order to avoid any leaks, you have to properly clean the seal surface on the water pump. You'll find the bulk parts and products used in the video in the Mr. Auto site and in the link in the description. Get the new water pump. Everyone's natural reflex is to take the water pump in hand and turn the pump to check that it's working properly. But this is a serious mistake that can irreversibly damage the water pump. Why? The internal mechanical seal is not lubricated yet. The coolant is not yet performing its sealing and lubricating functions between the dynamic and static seals. The dry rotation of the water pump will cause intense friction between the two components, damaging them beyond repair even before installation. This will cause coolant to leak constantly from the water pump. It is necessary to immerse the pump into coolant and run it about 10 minutes to form a mechanical seal, which acts as both lubricant and protective film between the dynamic and static seals, similar to the film created by oil between the cylinder wall and the piston rings. Install the new water pump. Check that the seal is present and in good condition. Start by screwing it in by hand. It is important to finish tightening the water pump using a torque wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle. Reattach the water pump connector in its housing. Take the lower take-up pulley and then fit it using the nut supplied in the kit. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Take the new tensioner pulley provided in the kit. Fit the tensioner pulley, making sure that the locking tab is correctly fitted into the engine block. Then screw it back on by hand until it makes contact. Screw it on a bit tighter, enough to still be able to move it in its least tension position with a 6mm Allen key. Take the upper take-up pulley and then fit it using the nut supplied in the kit. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Before reinstalling the belt, make sure to reposition the high-pressure pump and camshaft pulleys. We removed the plastic handle so that you would have a good view of the high-pressure pump's position. When drawing an imaginary line between the center of the pulley and the timing pin, the upper mark of the high-pressure pump sprocket should not be aligned with this line. Position the pulley's upper mark slightly above this line. Next, center the camshaft pulley locking bolt in its adjustment side hole. Typically, this is the position the pulley should be in once the belt is installed and tensioned. Take the new belt, paying careful attention to the proper direction of assembly. The arrows on the belt have to point clockwise. Start by positioning the belt on the crankshaft pulley. Then, bring it over to the lower take-up pulley and the water pump. Then, over the tensioner pulley. Now you need to fit the belt on the camshaft sprocket. Again, you must remove the timing pin so the belt can pass over. Make sure to return the pulley to its original position once the belt is in place. Then reinsert the pin. Next, bring it under the top take-up pulley. While holding the belt on the other components, place it on the higher pressure pump pulley, again taking care to keep the pulley in position. Once the belt is in place, center it correctly on the different components. When the belt is tensioned, the pulleys will move. Make sure that their final position is the recommended position. Tighten the tensioner so that the pointer is in the center of the adjustment side. For tightening, maintain tension using the Allen key. Then finish tightening using the Torx wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle. Finish tightening the camshaft pulley using the pulley locking wrench and the Torx wrench. You can now remove the timing pin from the camshaft pulley. Finish tightening the camshaft pulley locking bolt using a Torx wrench. Remove the high-pressure pump timing pin, then complete the tightening of the high-pressure pump. You can now remove the crankshaft pulley timing tool. Using the socket wrench, always clockwise, do 2 complete turns of the belt to check that your engine is well synchronized, indicating that the timing was done correctly. The compression of the engine can make rotating it difficult. Still, check that nothing is jammed. After 2 complete turns of the belt, check the tension of the tensioner pulley and that its pointer is still centered to its adjustment side. Now you need to retime the engine. Put the engine in the top dead center position. Then start this time by fitting the crankshaft timing tool. Next is the camshaft timing pin. And then the one for the high pressure pump. If you can easily put the 3 timing tools back in place, your belt is perfectly reassembled. Unfortunately, this is very rare. If you can't insert the high-pressure pump timing tool, there's an allowed tolerance of 5 mm between the fork and timing hole.
Alors, dans le cas où tu n'arriverais pas à insérer l'outil de calage de ta poulie d'arbre à cam, il y a une procédure, mais dans tous les cas, nous, on te conseille d'acheter le manuel de montage car les procédures, elles sont complexes et il faudrait presque qu'on réalise une vidéo dédiée à la manipulation. Alors, premièrement, si la fourchette se trouve décalée au-dessus de l'orifice de calage, tu devras recommencer toute la procédure de remise en place de la courroie de distribution, mais au moins, tu es sûr de ne pas faire de conneries, tu recommences à zéro. Deuxièmement, si la fourchette se trouve au-dessous de l'orifice de calage, la procédure est la suivante. Tu retires l'outil de calage du vilebrequin et puis tu fais tourner le moteur légèrement dans le sens inverse jusqu'à dépasser la position PMH. Ensuite, tu tournes lentement le moteur dans le sens horaire jusqu'à pouvoir enfiler la pige de calage dans la poulie d'arbre à cam. Une fois en place, tu dévisses d'un demi-tour la vis de blocage de la poulie et à ce moment-là, tu continues à tourner très légèrement le vilebrequin dans le sens horaire jusqu'à pouvoir enfiler l'outil de calage du vilebrequin. Là, tu resserres la vis de blocage de la poulie d'arbre à cam, tu resserres la roue dentée d'arbre à cam au couple de 100 Nm. Et à ce moment-là, tu peux vérifier la tension du galet tendeur. Ensuite, tu refais les 2 tours de courroie pour recontrôler le calage de ta distribution. Une fois que ça c'est tout bon, tu peux retirer toutes tes piges de calage. Alors attention, cette procédure, on te la donne vraiment à titre d'information. Mais encore une fois, le mieux c'est de la monter correctement du premier coup et vraiment si tu as un doute, t'enlèves tout et tu remontes. Allez, on y retourne.
We recommend installing a new damper pulley. Reinsert the 4 bolts. For tightening, you have to block the rotation of the crankshaft. To do this, put the vehicle in 5th gear and ask someone to press the brake pedal. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle using the paint marker technique to half mark and to visualize the correct torque angle. Put the bottom plastic cover back in approximately the right place. Then position the timing case cover plate. Once both components are in place, screw the timing case cover plate back on in the order showed in the video.
Alors, pour le serrage de la plaque de fermeture du carter de distribution, on te conseille vivement d'utiliser des vis neuves. Alors en fait, les vis neuves sont des vis dites à allongement qui supportent des coupes de serrage très importants. Donc si tu fais le choix de réutiliser les anciennes vis, ce sera à toi de déterminer le coupe de serrage que tu souhaites appliquer. Donc quand tu installes les vis neuves, il y a 3 phases. Tu dois serrer les vis dans l'ordre de la vidéo. Première phase de serrage, 7 Nm. Deuxième phase de serrage, 40 Nm. Et enfin, tu termines en serrant les vis avec un angle de 180 degrés.
Then screw in the 4 bolts for the bottom plastic cover. Adjust the height of the motor to allow the top engine mount to be fitted. Replace the top engine mount. Start by screwing the frames to bolts into the chassis.
Donc, pour les vis du support moteur, encore une fois, tu dois réutiliser des vis neuves. Et tu dois réaliser une première phase de serrage à la clénométrique et finaliser par une deuxième phase de serrage en ajoutant un serrage angulaire. Si tu ne changes pas les vis, là encore, à toi de déterminer la force de serrage. Attention à ne pas les casser.
Fit the 2 frame bolts into the timing case cover plate. Then screw them back in. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle. Screw the cross bolt that holds the engine mount on the chassis. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle. Put the plastic timing belt cover back in place. Be careful to put it back into the right slots and clips. Put the heat shield back in place. Then screw it back on. Screw the catalytic converter sensor back on. Screw in the 2 bolts holding the DPF pressure sensors. Snap the heat shield back on. Clip the DPF pressure pipes back where they go. Then screw the pipe retaining bolt back in. Put the diesel fuel filter flange back in its compartment. Then screw the 3 nuts back on. You can use a flexible magnetic extender to get the flange positioned. Reconnect the hose. Then put the clamping clip back in place. Do the same for the diesel fuel filter. Reinsert the coolant expansion tank into its hose. Then put the clamping clip back in place. Clip the expansion tank back in its slots. Reconnect the electrical connections. Then clip the plastic guide back onto the expansion tank. Clip the diesel hose back into its plastic guide. Reconnect the coolant hose, then put the clamping clip back in place. Reposition the hoses in their guides and lock them. Before using your vehicle, you have to put the coolant back in and purge the air from the circuit. Watch the video how to drain and purge the coolant system in your Golf 7 1.6 or 2.0 TDI. You can now reconnect the water pump's electrical connections, which must be done after purging. You can now put the drive belt in place. To do this, we recommend that you watch our video how to replace the drive belt on the Golf 7 1.6 or 2.0 TDI. You can now put the lower mudguard back on. Next, put the wheel back on your vehicle and set it down to the ground. Reconnect the battery. Reinstall the engine cover. Operation completed.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We will be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.